course runs over the rolling hills of the Hamakua coast to Waimea. From Waimea, the riders climb over 4,000 feet in 10 kilometers before a short, steep descent to the end of the stage in Hawaii.
When I looked around to my other competitors, I saw a whole lot of long johns and fleece jackets and ear warmers and gloves. And here I was standing in cycling shorts and a cut-off shirt. And I guess it pays to be Canadian. Day 2, I think, is the key to the race. Day 2 is muscular endurance on a bike. And from my perspective, who wants it badly?
A light drizzle greeted the riders as they descended into Keo. Early in the stage, Tom Roberts of Texas makes a break from the pack, with Ribeiro and O'Keefe staying within contact.
Day 2, well, we took off like bandits. Unbelievably, the pace was absurd. There was myself and 2 other competitors were jockeying for position. My objective was to stay with Alex Ribeiro. The other guy in the mix, from my perspective, again, I didn't think he'd be there too long. He just took off like there was no tomorrow. He was out of sight within the 10 minutes, and I thought, oh, this is going to be good. The objective there on day 2 was, from my perspective, I knew what I was going to do. I knew that I was going to race strong, but I also knew that things were going to happen today. And the measure of the competitive athlete is what he or she does once things that you can't control happen. The loop, some of the most beautiful scenery that I've ever seen, unbelievably rolling hills along the ocean. It was just unbelievable.
Following 10 minutes behind was Marty, who was feeling strong and pacing smartly after suffering badly on the long climb the previous day.
The day, as it proves, turns out to be hot anyway, and I've always been of the mind that if I ever find myself cold in a race, I would just turn up the effort a little bit, and that normally takes care of it.
Outside of Hilo, and after 5 hours of racing, Tony catches up with Tom Rogers and passes him, with Alex still ahead. At the 250-kilometer mark of the stage, Tony begins his climb through the koalas. Like a stage in the Tour de France, the surroundings are bleak and the grade is cruel. This is where character is not merely built, this is where it is revealed.
The climb is a barren, steep incline, 3,500 feet in a linear distance of perhaps 4 miles. Dramatic, to say the least. And basically, day 2 in memory was a series of long climbs and character-revealing, energy-depleting efforts. The idea is to string them together and look at them as one.
After the short descent in the rain, Tony finishes the stage in 8 hours and 8 minutes. Alex has ridden strongly again today, adding a further 13 minutes to his lead. But Tony has kept it close, being down 50 minutes from the overall lead. Marty Raymond crosses the line in 5th place in a time of 9 hours and 28 minutes on a flat tire. It's still very much a race, and everyone knows it.
The third stage of the Ultraman is an 84-kilometer double marathon from the town of Hawaii. It traverses a large volcanic field with basically no shade. I have one strategy for running, and I have one strategy for running the Ultraman, and that is to go out as hard as I can and hold it.
Before the run begins, the athletes form a circle and take a few moments to reflect while the conch shell is blown. The athletes and support crews share a moment of calm and well wishes in the morning darkness before the long day ahead. Soon after, at 6 a.m. sharp, the gun sounds. They have already swam 10 kilometers in an open ocean, ridden 415 kilometers on roads around the Big Island, And now, an 84-kilometer double marathon separate the athletes from the finish.
Marty had confided in me that his strategy, and it was sound, was to get as much ground covered in the double marathon as early as possible. We started in darkness as the sun hadn't crested yet.
Alex and Tony set a torrid early pace and quickly break away from the group. They cover the first 5 kilometers in under 19 minutes.
At the start of the run, the pace that we set was pretty fast. I took off with Alex Ribeiro. We got through the 5K mark in an obscenely fast time, considering there were still close to 80K left to go. And I thought, geez, this is ridiculous. But hey, I'm liking it. It's good. By the time we got to the 15K mark, I was struggling, and I knew it. I can hold the pace, but not forever. I started to ease off, and 10 feet turned into 20 feet as I watched him run away. And I thought to myself, this is an excellent education. I was watching a world champion execute a perfect race plan. I thought, this is great.
As the morning sun rose, so did the temperature.
Everyone pays at this race. Everyone. The leader and the last place finisher. Even the smallest hills presented a significant problem. The pavement of the Queen K is black. The lava field is black, and there's nowhere to hide. And you can feel the heat through your running shoes. You can feel it.
One by one, the miles count down. Tony passes the half marathon at 1 hour and 40 minutes. Then the full marathon mark with a time of 3 hours and 30 minutes.
42 kilometers down, 42 to go. This is what I was ready for. This is what I'd been training for. I'd been training for the last marathon. As the miles rolled on, I couldn't see Alex in front of me, but I knew he was there. And I knew that if he got into any trouble at all, it's not like swimming or biking, where swimming you can float for a bit, or biking you can just coast. Running, you stop. And it's very difficult to get going again. And I knew that I wasn't going to stop.
He is now paying for the pace set earlier in the day. His support crew now pays particular attention to Tony and his needs. Occasionally a joke or a word of encouragement is offered, but mostly things are just quiet.
We had a good plan, we have good people, and we all get along and we respect each other. No matter what happened out there, we had all decided that it was going to be a funny story. Maybe not in the present, but it was going to be a funny story.
At first, the signs are subtle. A sign here, a lamppost there. Next, the airport.
As you climb out from the depths of the lava field, you crest a hill, and lo and behold is the airport. Welcome to Kailua Kona. Once I passed the airport, I knew, as painful as it was going to be, I knew I was going to finish, and I was going to finish strong. I had decided that. 10 miles is, from my perspective, a mental number that is doable. I can crawl it, I can walk it, I can handstand in if I have to.
Finally, after 7 hours, Tony makes a right off the Queen K Highway onto Makala Boulevard. He can smell the finish line. And for the first time today, a smile is painted across his face. He also knows that Alex is already finished and has won the race. Second place again this year will have to suffice. At this moment, that's just fine. With a time of 7 hours and 11 minutes and an overall time of 23 hours and 41 minutes, Tony is greeted by family, support crew, and Alex. Hugs and high fives all around. Tony has bettered last year's time by more than an hour. One by one, the others file in. Marty solidifies 5th place with a run time of 9 hours and 7 minutes and an overall time of 27 hours and 2 minutes.
To the champion this year, Alex Ribeiro, my hat was off. He, a gracious man in every regard, flawless athlete, dedicated to the task. And from my perspective, it was an honor to race against the best in the world.